Imagine a time when one civilization ruled the entire known world, stretching from the windswept shores of Britannia to the sun-baked deserts of Egypt. A time when a single city became the heartbeat of an empire that would shape the course of history for over 1,000 years. Welcome to the story of the Roman Empire, a tale of ambition, power, and legacy that still resonates today. A time long before the towering marble temples and sprawling roads, there was a rugged village on the banks of the Tiber River. The year is 753 BCE, and we find ourselves amidst dense forests and untamed landscapes, where the roots of Rome are being planted. The legend goes that this village was founded by twin brothers Romulus and Remus, who were said to be raised by a she-wolf. As the story unfolds, a dispute between the brothers over where to build their city turns fatal. Romulus, driven by a vision of greatness, kills his brother and establishes the city on the Palatine Hill, naming it after himself, Rome. The early Romans were survivors, scrappy and determined. They were a small community, but they had big dreams. The first scenes of Roman life are humble: wooden huts, dirt paths, and simple farming tools. Yet even in these early days there is a sense of destiny. The villagers are seen marking the boundaries of their settlement, fortifying it with primitive walls. These first steps of Rome, though modest, are laced with ambition. Little did they know this small village would one day rule the world. As the sun sets over the fledgling city, a faint glow of its future power is almost palpable. The early struggles. As Rome begins to grow, it faces an immediate challenge: survival. The young city is surrounded by powerful neighbors: the Etruscans to the north, the Sabines to the east, and the Latins to the south. Rome's early years are marked by relentless conflict as it struggles to maintain its independence. We watch as early Roman warriors, clad in simple armor, clash with enemy forces. The battles are brutal, fought with swords, spears, and sheer determination. The scene cuts to a Roman council, where the elders discuss strategies to defend their fledgling city. They know that failure could mean the end of Rome before it even begins. But the Romans are not easily defeated. Time and again they rally their forces and push back their enemies. Each victory, no matter how small, strengthens their resolve. They start forming alliances, using both diplomacy and force to secure their position in the region. Rome's ability to adapt and learn from its enemies becomes one of its greatest strengths. After each battle, the Romans adopt new tactics and weapons from their adversaries, slowly but surely becoming a formidable military power. The camera follows a group of Roman soldiers returning home after a hard-fought victory, their faces weary but proud. The city is growing not just in size but in confidence. The early struggles, though harsh, forge a community that is united by a common purpose: survival and the pursuit of greatness. The formation of the Roman Republic. As Rome secures its place among the Italian tribes, its internal structure begins to evolve. In 509 BCE, the last king of Rome is overthrown, marking the end of the Roman kingdom and the birth of the Roman Republic. This moment is a turning point in history. The scene opens with a gathering of Roman elites in a makeshift senate, a dimly lit hall buzzing with tension and anticipation. The people have grown weary of monarchical rule, and the senators, representing the city's leading families, are determined to ensure that no single man will ever hold absolute power over Rome again. The concept of the Republic is revolutionary, a system of governance where power is shared among elected officials. Two consuls are chosen to lead the state, each with equal authority, and their power is checked by a complex system of checks and balances. The camera captures the first consuls as they take their oaths of office, a solemn moment that signifies the dawn of a new era. The Senate hall echoes with their voices, pledging to uphold the laws of the Republic and defend the rights of its citizens. This new political system isn't perfect, far from it. The early Republic is marked by struggles between the patricians, the elite class, and the plebeians, the common people, who seek more rights and representation. The scene cuts to a lively debate in the Senate, where fiery orators argue for reforms, setting the stage for centuries of political intrigue and power struggles. Despite its flaws, the Republic is a bold experiment in governance that will shape the destiny of Rome and influence political thought for millennia to come. The conflict with Carthage begins. As Rome's influence grows, so does its appetite for expansion. The year is 264 BCE, and the stage is set for a series of epic conflicts that will define Rome's future: the Punic Wars. The first of these wars pits Rome against Carthage, a powerful city-state located in North Africa, with a vast trading empire and a formidable navy. The scene opens with a breathtaking view of the Mediterranean Sea, where Roman and Carthaginian ships are poised for battle, their sails billowing in the wind. The tension is palpable as the camera zooms in on the Roman fleet, showcasing their innovative corvus, a boarding device that allows Roman soldiers to turn naval battles into infantry combat. This invention is a game-changer, leveling the playing field against the superior Carthaginian navy. We then transition to the chaos of battle, with ships colliding and Roman soldiers storming aboard enemy vessels. The clash is fierce, with both sides fighting desperately for control of the Mediterranean. The conflict is not just about territory, it's a struggle for dominance over trade routes and influence in the region. The Romans, despite their initial lack of naval experience, quickly adapt and learn from their Carthaginian adversaries. The scene shifts to a Roman commander on the deck of his ship, surveying the battle with a steely gaze. His determination mirrors that of Rome itself, unwilling to accept defeat and relentless in the pursuit of victory. The First Punic War is long and costly, but it ends in a decisive Roman victory, with Carthage forced to cede control of Sicily. The camera lingers on the Roman soldiers celebrating their hard-won success, their spirits high as they realize they have just taken the first step toward empire. Rome's victory over Carthage marks the beginning of its rise as a dominant power in the Mediterranean world. Hannibal's invasion of Italy. After the First Punic War, tensions between Rome and Carthage remain high, leading to one of the most legendary military campaigns in history, the invasion of Italy by the Carthaginian general Hannibal. It is 218 BCE, and the scene opens with a sweeping shot of the rugged, snow-capped Alps. Against this daunting backdrop, Hannibal's army, including a contingent of war elephants, makes its treacherous journey over the mountains. The camera follows the soldiers as they struggle through the harsh conditions: ice, snow, and sheer cliffs. The journey is perilous, with men and animals alike falling victim to the elements. Yet Hannibal presses on, driven by a singular goal: to bring Rome to its knees. This audacious maneuver catches the Romans completely off guard. No one expected an enemy force to cross the Alps, much less one led by elephants, symbols of power and fear. The scene then transitions to the Italian countryside, where Hannibal's forces descend upon Roman lands like a storm. The devastation is immediate and brutal. The camera captures the panic and chaos as Roman citizens flee their homes, their lives upended by this unexpected invasion. Hannibal's army wreaks havoc, winning battle after battle against the Roman legions, who are unprepared for his unconventional tactics. Hannibal's invasion brings Rome to the brink of collapse. The Senate is in turmoil and there is a palpable sense of fear throughout the city. Yet, amidst the despair, a resolve begins to form. Rome is wounded but not defeated. The scene closes with a shot of the Roman army regrouping, determined to turn the tide against this seemingly unstoppable force. The stage is set for one of the most dramatic chapters in Rome's history: the Roman counterattack. In the face of Hannibal's relentless onslaught, Rome finds a hero in the form of Scipio Africanus, a young and ambitious general who is determined to save the Republic. The year is 202 BCE, and the scene opens with Scipio standing before his troops, delivering an impassioned speech. His words are filled with conviction and hope, inspiring his men to believe that victory is within their grasp. The camera then shifts to the plains of Zama in North Africa, where the final showdown between Rome and Carthage is about to unfold. The Roman legions, disciplined and battle-hardened, stand in formation, facing Hannibal's forces for the first time on Carthaginian soil. The tension is electric as the two armies prepare to clash, the outcome of this battle set to determine the fate of empires. The battle itself is a spectacle of strategy and courage. Scipio's tactics are masterful. He has studied Hannibal's methods and knows how to counter them. The camera captures the intensity of the fight, with soldiers locked in combat, dust rising from the battlefield, and the sound of clashing swords filling the air. Despite the ferocity of Hannibal's troops, the Roman legions slowly but surely gain the upper hand. As the battle reaches its climax, the camera zooms in on Hannibal, his face a mask of determination mixed with the realization that defeat is imminent. Scipio's forces close in, and the Carthaginian lines break. The Roman victory is decisive, and with it, Rome asserts its dominance over the western Mediterranean. The scene closes with a shot of Scipio, now hailed as Africanus, standing amidst the aftermath of battle, victorious. This moment not only marks the end of the Second Punic War but also solidifies Rome's place as the preeminent power in the ancient world. Rome becomes an empire. With Carthage defeated, Rome's ambitions grow even larger. The scene opens in 49 BCE, with Julius Caesar leading his legions across the Rubicon River, a bold act of defiance that signals the start of a civil war. The camera follows Caesar's troops as they march towards Rome, their faces set with determination, knowing they are about to change the course of history. The scene transitions to the Roman Senate, where panic and confusion reign. Senators argue and shout, their voices echoing through the marble halls as they realize the Republic is on the brink of collapse. Caesar's march on Rome is an open challenge to the authority of the Senate, a direct threat to the republican ideals that have governed Rome for centuries. As Caesar's forces approach the city, the scene cuts to a close-up of Caesar himself, his expression a mixture of resolve and ambition. He knows that once he crosses the Rubicon, there is no turning back. The camera captures the moment of decision, the weight of his actions hanging heavy in the air. Caesar's gamble pays off, and he enters Rome unopposed, his path to power clear. The scene then shifts to the aftermath of the Civil War, with Caesar standing before a massive crowd, declaring himself dictator for life. The crowd's reaction is mixed. Some cheer, others murmur in dissent. The camera captures the faces of key figures in the Senate, some wary, others openly hostile. The Republic as it has existed, is effectively over. The scene closes with a wide shot of Rome, now under Caesar's control, its destiny forever altered. This is the moment when Rome, once a republic, takes its first steps toward becoming an empire under the rule of a single man. Scene 8, the Ides of March. The power that Julius Caesar amassed during his rise to dictatorship comes at a cost. It is now 44 BCE, and the scene opens inside the Roman Senate, where tension hangs thick in the air. Senators are seen whispering and exchanging furtive glances, the atmosphere electric with anticipation. Unbeknownst to Caesar, a conspiracy is brewing, a plot to end his life and restore the Republic. The camera follows Caesar as he enters the Senate, greeted by what appear to be friendly faces. However, there is a sense of foreboding as the conspirators, led by Brutus and Cassius, close in around him. The scene is shot with a sense of urgency, the camera angles tight and focused, emphasizing the claustrophobic atmosphere of betrayal. Suddenly the mood shifts dramatically. The conspirators strike and the scene erupts into chaos. The camera captures the shock and horror on Caesar's face as he realizes the depth of the betrayal. The brutal reality of the assassination is depicted in stark detail. Caesar's toga stained with blood, the senators stepping back in a mix of fear and triumph. His final words, "Et tu, brute?" echo through the chamber, a poignant moment of personal betrayal amidst political upheaval. The scene closes with a focus on Caesar's lifeless body, lying on the Senate floor, his blood pooling around him. The senators, some of whom had hoped this act would save the Republic, now stand in stunned silence, realizing that they have plunged Rome into even greater turmoil. The camera pulls back to show the entire Senate chamber, now a scene of chaos as news of Caesar's death spreads through Rome. The Ides of March marks the end of Caesar's reign but also the beginning of a power struggle that will eventually lead to the establishment of the Roman Empire. Augustus and the birth of the empire. In the wake of Caesar's assassination, Rome descends into a period of civil war and chaos. The scene opens with a chaotic battle between the forces of Mark Antony, Octavian, and the Senate loyalists, a brutal struggle for control of Rome. Amidst the bloodshed and political maneuvering, one man rises above the rest: Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir. The camera captures Octavian's shrewd and calculated maneuvers as he navigates the treacherous waters of Roman politics. The turning point comes in 31 BCE at the Battle of Actium, where Octavian's forces decisively defeat the combined fleets of Mark Antony and Cleopatra. The scene is a spectacular naval battle, with ships clashing in a fiery display of power. As the dust settles, Octavian emerges as the unchallenged ruler of Rome. The camera follows him as he enters Rome to the cheers of the populace, now a hero and the de facto ruler of the Roman world. In 27 BCE, the Senate grants Octavian the title of Augustus, marking the official end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire. The scene captures this pivotal moment with grandeur, as Augustus stands before the Senate and the people, his expression one of calm authority. He is no longer just a leader. He is the emperor, the first citizen of Rome. The scene then transitions to show the transformation of Rome under Augustus. The camera pans across the city, capturing the construction of grand buildings, temples, and monuments that symbolize the new era of peace and prosperity. Augustus' rule ushers in the Pax Romana, a period of stability and growth that will last for 2 centuries. The scene closes with a shot of Augustus looking over Rome from a balcony, the city bathed in the golden light of dawn, symbolizing the beginning of a new era in Roman history. The Pax Romana. The Pax Romana, or Roman peace, is a golden age for the Roman Empire. The scene opens with a bustling Roman marketplace, filled with the sights and sounds of daily life. Merchants call out their wares, citizens haggle over prices, and children play in the streets. The camera captures the vibrancy of the empire, where cultures from across the known world come together under the banner of Rome. The scene then shifts to the grandeur of Roman architecture. The camera glides over the Colosseum, where gladiators prepare for combat, and the Pantheon with its magnificent dome, symbolizing the empire's engineering prowess. Aqueducts snake across the landscape, bringing fresh water to cities, while Roman roads stretch to the horizon, connecting the vast territories of the empire. This infrastructure not only facilitates trade and communication but also symbolizes the power and reach of Rome. Cultural and intellectual life flourishes during this period. The camera moves through a Roman library, where scholars are seen studying scrolls of philosophy, science, and literature. The works of Virgil, Ovid, and Horace echo through the halls, their poetry reflecting the values and ideals of the Roman state. In the baths, citizens of all classes gather not only to cleanse but to discuss politics, philosophy, and the latest news, a reflection of the social harmony that defines this era. However, beneath the surface, there are hints of the challenges that will eventually test the empire. The scene captures the opulence of the elite contrasted with the hard lives of the plebeians, hinting at the social tensions that simmer below. The camera lingers on the faces of common citizens, their expressions a mix of contentment and uncertainty, foreshadowing the struggles that lie ahead. The scene closes with a wide shot of Rome at dusk, the city bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun, symbolizing the height of the empire's power and the peace that has settled across its vast territories. The construction of Hadrian's Wall. As the Roman Empire reaches its zenith, its borders extend to the farthest reaches of the known world. One of the most formidable challenges is maintaining control over these vast territories, particularly in the remote and wild lands of Britannia. The scene opens with a sweeping view of the rugged British landscape, a place of misty hills and dense forests. The camera captures the harshness of the environment, where Roman soldiers labor tirelessly, laying the foundations of what will become Hadrian's Wall. Built between 122 and 128 CE, Hadrian's Wall is a massive fortification stretching across the width of northern England. The scene shows the wall rising from the earth, stone by stone, as Roman engineers and soldiers work side by side. The wall is more than just a physical barrier. It is a symbol of Rome's determination to protect its empire from the barbarians to the north. The camera focuses on the meticulous construction process, from the cutting of stones to the building of mile castles and forts along the length of the wall. The scene shifts to a Roman centurion patrolling the wall, his gaze fixed on the distant, untamed lands beyond. The camera captures the isolation and the constant vigilance required to defend this frontier. Despite the wall's imposing presence, the tension is palpable. Beyond it lies a land that Rome will never fully conquer. The centurion's face reflects the burden of maintaining Rome's dominance in such a distant and hostile territory. The scene ends with a dramatic aerial shot of Hadrian's Wall snaking across the landscape, a stark line between the Roman world and the unknown. The camera lingers on the wall as the sun sets, casting long shadows across the stones, symbolizing the empire's efforts to hold its borders against an ever-present threat. This monumental structure, though impressive, also hints at the limits of Roman power and the challenges that come with defending an empire that spans continents. The crisis of the 3rd century. The scene opens in 235 CE, a time when the Roman Empire is plunged into chaos. The once mighty empire is now facing a perfect storm of internal and external crises that threaten its very existence. The camera captures a series of rapid, chaotic scenes. Emperors being assassinated, barbarian invasions breaching the empire's borders, and rampant inflation devaluing the Roman currency. The empire, once a beacon of stability, is now teetering on the brink of collapse. One of the most striking images is that of a Roman coin, once a symbol of wealth and power, now worthless as inflation spirals out of control. The camera zooms in on merchants refusing to accept devalued coins, a stark representation of the economic turmoil gripping the empire. This financial instability spreads like a disease, undermining the very foundations of Roman society. As the scene progresses, the camera shifts to the front lines, where Roman legions are stretched thin, fighting on multiple fronts against invading barbarian tribes. The soldiers, once the pride of Rome, are now exhausted and demoralized, their equipment worn and their numbers dwindling. The scene shows the chaos and fear that permeate the Roman ranks as they struggle to hold back the waves of invasions. The once impenetrable borders of the empire are now under constant threat. Internally, the situation is no better. The camera captures the dark corridors of power in Rome, where political instability reigns. Emperors are overthrown in rapid succession, often meeting violent ends as rival factions vie for control. The camera lingers on the faces of Roman citizens, their expressions a mix of fear and uncertainty as they watch their empire crumble around them. The crisis of the 3rd century is a stark reminder of how quickly power can erode, even in the mightiest of empires. The scene closes with a wide shot of Rome itself, once the center of the world, now a city beset by chaos and disorder, a symbol of the empire's rapid decline. The division of the empire. In response to the growing challenges of ruling an empire as vast and diverse as Rome, Emperor Diocletian makes a bold and unprecedented decision. The scene opens in 285 CE, with Diocletian in his imperial palace, surrounded by maps and advisors. The camera captures the weight of the moment as he contemplates the fate of the empire. After years of crisis, he concludes that the only way to save Rome is to divide it. The scene transitions to a map of the Roman Empire, where the camera zooms in on the lines being drawn to separate the east from the west. Diocletian establishes a system known as the Tetrarchy, appointing co-emperors to rule the divided territories. The camera shifts to the new capitals, Rome in the west and Nicomedia in the east, each a center of power in its own right. This division is meant to streamline administration and defense, but it also marks the beginning of the end for the united Roman Empire. The scene captures the immediate effects of this division. In the east, the camera shows the thriving cities of the Eastern Roman Empire, with bustling markets, strong defenses, and a more stable economy. The eastern half of the empire, richer and more urbanized, appears to be flourishing under Diocletian's reforms. The camera then shifts to the west, where the challenges are more apparent. Less wealth, fewer resources, and a constant struggle to fend off barbarian invasions. Despite Diocletian's best efforts, the division of the empire also highlights its underlying weaknesses. The camera focuses on the growing cultural and political differences between the East and West, as well as the increasing difficulty of maintaining unity across such vast distances. The scene closes with a symbolic image of the empire's two halves drifting apart, a harbinger of the eventual fall of the Western Roman Empire. The division, though intended as a solution, sets the stage for the ultimate fragmentation and decline of Rome's once unified power. The fall of Rome. The year is 476 CE, and the scene opens with a dark, stormy sky over the city of Rome. The once great city is now a shadow of its former self, its streets eerily quiet, its buildings crumbling. The camera captures the desolation and decay, a powerful contrast to the grandeur that once defined the capital of the Roman Empire. The Western Empire is on its last legs, beset by internal decay and external threats. The camera then shifts to the approach of barbarian forces, led by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer. His warriors, clad in furs and wielding crude weapons, march towards Rome with grim determination. The scene captures the sense of inevitability, as the once impregnable city is now defenseless. The gates of Rome, which once stood strong against enemies, are thrown open without a fight. The Roman soldiers, demoralized and outnumbered, offer little resistance. Inside the city, the camera focuses on the young Romulus Augustulus, the last Roman emperor of the West. He is a mere boy, overwhelmed and powerless in the face of such overwhelming force. The scene is filled with a sense of tragic inevitability as Odoacer confronts the young emperor, demanding his abdication. There is no dramatic battle, no heroic last stand, just the quiet, sorrowful end of an era. Romulus Augustulus, the last of a long line of emperors, relinquishes the imperial regalia, handing over the symbols of Roman power. The camera then pans out to capture the streets of Rome, now occupied by foreign warriors. The city, once the heart of the world, is now just another conquered town. The scene closes with a shot of the Roman Forum, its grand temples and arches now in ruins, overgrown with weeds. The fall of Rome is not marked by a single cataclysmic event, but by a slow, inexorable decline, a process that began centuries earlier and now reaches its melancholy conclusion. The Western Roman Empire, the mightiest empire the world had ever known, is no more. The legacy of Rome. The final scene opens with a panoramic view of modern-day Rome, a city that still bears the scars of its ancient past. The ruins of the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, and the Pantheon stand as silent witnesses to a civilization that once ruled the known world. The camera moves through these ancient streets, capturing the contrast between the past and the present, between the ruins of empire and the vibrant life of a modern city. But Rome's legacy extends far beyond its ruins. The scene shifts to different parts of the world, where the influence of Rome is still visible. The camera captures the architecture of grand buildings in Paris, London, and Washington, D.C., all inspired by Roman designs. The influence of Roman law is highlighted as we see modern courtrooms, where principles of Roman jurisprudence are still in practice. The Latin language, the root of so many modern languages, is shown through textbooks and inscriptions, its influence still strong in the vocabulary of science, law, and religion. The camera then moves to scenes of daily life, where the legacy of Rome is less obvious but no less profound. Roman roads, the foundation of Europe's infrastructure, are shown in their modern equivalents, highways and railways that connect cities and nations. The concept of citizenship, civic duty, and governance that began in the Roman Republic is shown in modern democratic practices, from voting in elections to public debates. The scene closes with a return to Rome, as the camera ascends over the city at dusk. The sun sets over the eternal city, casting a warm glow over its ancient stones. The final image is of the Roman Forum, bathed in the golden light of evening, a symbol of the enduring legacy of the Roman Empire. Though the empire itself has fallen, its influence continues to shape the world we live in today, a testament to the enduring power of Rome's ideas, innovations, and culture. The camera fades to black, leaving the viewer with a sense of the immense and lasting impact of the Roman Empire.